Hello, and welcome to our introductory set on our lesson for music composition entitling Making a Social Statement Through Music. In this lesson, what we're going to do is create an original song, or maybe a parody. You could possibly use another melodic line, but we'll talk about parody towards the end at a little bit. But what I'd like you to be able to do is write a poem about society and current events, or something that's going to give you a little bit more of an opportunity to reflect on current events that impact your life. And you could speak your mind in this song and get out an idea of anything that might be bothering you about society, or just being able to make a statement on many different types of things. The first thing that we're going to do is create your lyrics. Okay, and they should do that by writing a list of words and things that you're going to rhyme, or things that are going to be in the topic that you're going to want to rhyme with. And then once you've got the words written, find 3 to 4 rhyming words. Start with about 5 words that you're going to try to make rhymes with, and then try and make about 3 or 4 words that might rhyme with the topic words. And then you'll take those topic words and move them into a story, and try and make them matter to something that's going to make a statement and is going to actually create the words that you're going to want to have. And then we'll establish a pattern using those syllables and the rhythmic structure to create your rhyme scheme. Okay, I've used lyrics for a political song here about Republicans. It's called A Political Song, and I'm writing about Republicans and Democrats. And so my key words were going to be Democrats, and I rhymed it with rats. And then I want to catch the voters' ear, and they're going to want to say something that you want to hear. Or I'm talking about a veteran, and the bureaucrat has a big grin on his face. And so I'm going to find some rhyming words here that happen to work and fit them into my song. So once you've managed to find your rhyme scheme, then we're going to be able to set up a pattern of in GarageBand. And I'm going to decompose the song a little bit here that I've written, and we're going to listen to just some basic elements of the song. First of all, we're going to listen to a little bit of, and I'll just enter in some sounds that are going to develop into the song. The first thing I like to do is lay out the rhythm track. So here's a basic drum kit that I'm going to have a rhythmic sound here, and you're going to hear a tambourine and a snare drum and a little bit of a bass drum, and I'm going to want that a little bit lower in the background, but I'm going to keep kind of tempo with this. And then I'm going to add a bass to it. So I like to start with a rhythm track with the drums and the bass, so you can actually hear an idea of where that rhythmic structure and where that tempo is going to happen. And then I'll add a little bit of a piano for some chords. I'll take that out. The space harp chord will come on a little bit later. You can hear the difference when the piano goes in and out. So now I've got bass and chords and rhythm. Now I might also add a little bit more to give it a little more depth and sustain. So here's a classic rock organ, kind of imitating the same basic concepts harmonically that the piano is playing. Sometimes doubling even the same parts, but it's sustaining. The notes are a little bit longer, and I don't have as much of a bouncy kind of a feel to the organ as I do to the piano. Okay, so now you get an idea of what the whole kind of concept here right now for the structure of the song is. Now I'm going to add a couple other little effects. I want to have an intro, and I want to start with another theme that's still in the same harmonic setting of this. And I'm going to start with an intro of a piano, and I'm going to borrow a tune, and I'm going to give credit to it. And this is a familiar song that everybody knows, because I'm making it a political nature. I'm going to use a little intro of Hail to the Chief, and you'll hear that right here. And then I kick the tempo up a little bit, and now I've got my basic concept of the different sounds that I'm going to have in the background. And the one thing I need to add right now to this is a vocal track. So I'm going to stop this, and what I'm going to do is I want to get this kind of a little bit feel. I want it to be kind of a comedy type of piece because I put a few musical jokes into the lyrics and things like that. So I'm going to want to get kind of a different sound, and I'm going to use a megaphone sound. It's a filter that's in the software for GarageBand that you can change and edit the voice a little bit. And you're going to hear a little bit right now of just I'll just do without any other instruments, and I'll see if I can get this to give. Here's what the vocal part is going to sound like without anything else.
Republicans and Democrats, which of them are bigger rats? Sometimes it's hard for you to tell.
It has a harsh type of
they try to catch
tone
the
to
voters' ears by saying what they want to hear.
Okay, so that kind of a sound is a megaphone sound. It's kind of a reminiscent of Rudy Valley, or something that was recorded on an old microphone, maybe in the 20s or the 30s or something like that. So I kind of like that kind of a sound, and it gave a little bit of a kind of a reminiscent feel to political satire. So it kind of draws back to that. So I'm going to bring that back. We'll do the intro and hear parts of the verses, and then I'll show one other thing that I'm going to add to it. Here we go. This is the whole piano entry and the beginning of the audio.
Republicans and Democrats, which of them are bigger rats? Sometimes it's hard for you to tell. They try to catch the voters' ears by saying what they want to hear, and when they win, it's you can go to hello, Mr. Veteran.
Okay, so you get the idea of what the backgrounds and the audio on top of it, and you hear a little bit of how the lyrics are working out rhythmically. There's a couple other things that I wanted to add to it. I want to add a little in the middle of it. I'm going to repeat the verses so you get to hear them again a little bit later on. But what I'm going to want to do is add a little instrumental track. So what I did was just copy the melody or the harmony and the backgrounds, and took the vocal out of it. So we're coming out of the vocal into a little bit.
What the politician claims will make this country safe and free, but wasn't this a democracy?
So I'm going to keep this, and then I'm going to bring in right here a solo track. And all I did was add a harpsichord. So basically it's just the backgrounds, and then I add a melodic line on top of it, and I come back to the melody. Okay, so you get the idea of how that is. So now when I have all of that in here, now I'm just going to add a little bit of sound effects to it to see make it sound a little bit more like that comedy style of the 30s and the 40s. And I'm going to add an applause track to hit some of the jokes and in the dialogue of the lyrics. And then I'm going to add also. So let me show you what this is going to sound like with the applause track in the back when it finally hits the jokes.
For you to tell. They try to catch the voters' ears by saying what they want to hear, and when they win, it's you can go to hello, Mr. Veteran. The bureaucrat said with a grin, you deserve a healthy benefit for fighting an uncommon foe like Al-Qaeda. Don't you know the bureaucrat is really full of ships and tanks and bombs and planes, or what?
Okay, so what I did was put in a little bit of laughter track in the backgrounds where I was making some jokes, so you actually know that you're supposed to laugh at them because they're not serious. It's kind of a comical song. And then I put, to make it just sound a little goofier, and I know it's kind of tongue-in-cheek and it's a little cheesy, but I added another track which is called comedy noises, and that's going to really accent a lot of the goofiness where you're going to hear the laughter and
sometimes it's hard for you to tell. They try to catch the voters' ears by saying what they want to hear, and when they win, it's you can go to hello, Mr. Veteran. The bureaucrat said with a grin, you deserve a healthy benefit for fighting an uncommon foe like Al-Qaeda. Don't you know the bureaucrat is really full of ships and tanks and bombs and planes, or what the politicians.
Okay, So you get the idea that now we can add different kinds of sound effects on top of that, and then we get that into the final mix, and I can do a little bit more with graphics and on the video. And I'm using a little bit of the same kind of a thematic concept with the Subterranean Homesick Blues by Bob Dylan, and I'm using flashcards, and I'm doing them on individual cells, and you'll see that on the final product. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. Thank you.
Claims will make this country safe and free, but wasn't this a democracy?